You're about to enter the world of Strawberry Ice and the Ice Cave. Let's go!
The league rule was you're not really supposed to
Probably take him out of that conversation. And that
he started from absolute scratch.
I would draft Aziz Ojolari or any.
Nobody's doing 7-step drops in
playing tackle for him. So
Right.
It's
He's almost 22 years old. Devonta Smith, same thing.
You just can't. You can't do that. You can't do
I
that.
thought that 2010
that he should be in the Hall of Fame, and they put him in after he is gone. So that's why.
To fill the stadium.
I remember you guys saying that.
It's crazy.
I see that he's taken the non.
But overall, that line wasn't better.
No,
They still.
He's talking to the refs and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to get those calls."
he's coming. He's coming, and he's being section 158 with me. So
These guys have learned basically since they've been in the major leagues.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of Jackpot Joey Burrow and those Cincinnati Bengals. All right, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. I'm up to 1,308 subscribers. That is awesome. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Now, if you're watching me on Facebook or Twitter, do me a favor. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so when I go live, you'll be notified. Also, we're doing something different today. Exclusively on Facebook, I am live streaming on Who-Dey Nation. So, hello to everybody on Who-Dey Nation. What's going on? And if you guys have not subscribed to my channel, please go to the YouTube channel, Sports with Strawberry Ice. Subscribe, hit the bell for notification. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, exclusively in the YouTube channel, we have the Super Chats, which is just a way to support my channel, support what I'm doing. So if you guys don't mind and want to go like what I'm doing, would like to support my channel, give me a Super Chat. I'll pop it up as fast as I can. Now, I am coming to you live from the Ice Cave here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And the Ice Cave is sponsored by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertyllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. So if you are out there and you would like to sponsor my show or the Ice Cave, hit me up at strawberryice.com or on Facebook or Twitter or Jeff Trunapole. And you can hit me up and I will gladly let you sponsor the show. Now, let's get to the Jackpot Joey stuff, which is really cool. If you guys have not bought any of the Jackpot Joey Burrow stuff, I highly recommend it because portions of the proceeds of that go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Foundation. And Matty Myers got in the Joe Burrow mobile. That's what I call it. I don't know if that's what he calls it, but that's the Joe Burrow mobile. So if you see this, that's Matty's car. And he headed on up to Athens and made a donation again today with these lovely ladies for $250. And that brings the grand total right now up to $500. So if you guys like the Jackpot Joey Burrow stuff, he's got hats, he's got towels, he's got flags. And if you're interested in buying any of it, and like I said, portions of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Foundation. You can go to the website, www.jackpotjoey9.com, and you can order your Joe Burrow stuff. So that is really cool news. Now, today, I normally go to the bridge and watch the Bengals with the practices and everything. I do a hashtag Bengals Bridge Crew. Well, I went there today, and I'm standing outside practice waiting for them to walk out. The gates are still closed, which I get there early sometimes, so it's not that big of a deal. And I'm sitting around. It's about 2 o'clock, and they usually walk out by now. I'm going, are they not practicing today? Finally, somebody drove by in a golf cart. I said, hey, are they not practicing today? He goes, no, they practiced earlier today. I'm like, oh, crap. So I don't have any videos from the bridge today, but I do have some clips from Bengals.com from Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow and their press conference today. And first one I want to play is Zach Taylor. And he was basically talking about today's practice and how it's a version of what their Friday practices are going to be like, since obviously they're playing Friday nights. So that's kind of what the rundown was, and also of who's in and who's out for the game Friday night. Again, this is from Bengals.com.
Are you planning for Ogunjobi and Allen and Apple to play on Friday?
I'm not I am for Larry Ogunjobi. Larry will play. The guys right now that will not play would be on defense: Eli Apple, Ricardo Allen, Donnie Lewis, as they continue to come back from those hamstrings. Optimistic. They're starting to get more work in, so optimistic for next week. Khalid Kareem and Joseph Asai would be the 2 D linemen that would be out. And then on offense, Travion Williams continues to go with the hamstring. So we'll leave him here, let him rehab so that we can maybe get him going next week. And then Deontay Smith would be the other one that we're just kind of wait and see mode.
So you'll get Trey Hopkins in?
I'm going to hold Trey Hopkins out just like Burrow, just because both those guys coming off those surgeries. We're going to give them at least another week.
Have you seen enough from Burrow this week to maybe open the idea of him playing against Miami?
That doesn't really affect his playing time in the preseason. Again, with guys like him, we're just week one. We want to get to that track. But I thought that he's had a really good week this week, really good week last week too. So certainly I feel like offensively, starting with the quarterback position, trending in the right direction with where we want to go. You know, it's part of training camp. You know, those first couple of weeks, they didn't go as unplanned. You know, you put a lot of things in and you're working through a lot of different stuff. And really feel like this last week and a half, last 2 weeks, these guys have taken the next step and we're starting to find a rhythm there. Yeah, he'll make the trip.
So the last question was asking if Trey Hopkins and Joe Burrow will make the trip, and the answer was yes, they will make the trip. I think it's really good news that the offense is trending in the right direction, and it's about time because I know for the first couple of weeks, Bengals fans kind of freaking out like, oh my goodness, Joe Burrow, we ruined him, we did this and all that, and I kept saying, just relax, you know, he'll get there. It's gonna be fine. But more stuff from Zach. He said that I'll talk about the starters for the preseason game and how long they'll play. He said at the most they'll play the first quarter. I'd be surprised if they play past the second series. If everything goes good on the second series, I could see them seeing Zach pulling them out. Also, Deontay Smith did not participate in practice this morning. He suffered from a little bit of dehydration, and that happened like late last night. Zach said he didn't rule him out for Friday's game, so there's a chance that Deontay could play Friday night. I wouldn't push it myself. It's preseason game. He's done pretty well, so that's the news on Deontay Smith. And then, like I said, Zach said that Burrow has had a really good week of practice. The offense has looked really well, and Burrow pretty much came out and said, I'm back to my old self. Again, here's some more stuff from Bengals.com.
Yeah, back to my old self. Feel great. Super comfortable back there. We're getting it rolling. Still got a ways to go before the first game. Still got to get better every day, but happy with where I'm at.
That's awesome. I mean, he's happy where he's at. He's starting to get over the mental hurdles of, the injury and stuff like that. And he just wants to get out there and play. And I think Jeff Hobson from Bengals.com asked this, like, how many practices or whatever did it take you to get to where you're at now, to the comfortability that you have in the pocket where you feel like you're back to normal? And this is what Burrow had to say, again, from Bengals.com.
10 more practices. That's it. Just getting more reps. Like I said before, no one was panicked. I wasn't panicked. Just took more reps. Coming off a bad injury, haven't played for a while. Now we're back to normal. 10 practices later, so we're good to go.
Good to go. 10 practices. He's ready to go, and that's a typical Joe Burrow answer. I mean, that's what I love. One of the things I love about him is his calm, cool confidence. It doesn't come across cocky. It's just 10 practices. We're good to go. I had to do a couple of different things, which we'll talk about in the next clip that I have. To get him to where he's at now. And the question that we're all wondering, will Burrow play in in preseason? Now, when this whole thing started back in minicamp, I said, there's no freaking way he's going to play in preseason. And then I saw him in minicamp running around like there was nothing wrong with his knee. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe he might, and as things are coming to fruition with the offensive line, it looks more and more like I think he's going to play at least the first series against Miami in the jungle, and I will be there in section 158. It's going to be awesome. But here's Joe talking about possibly playing, and is he doing some lobbying?
I always want to go out there and compete, but I don't get paid to make those decisions. That's ownership and Zach, and I trust those guys to make the right decisions for us and for our team, and we'll see about the next week.
You talk to quarterbacks across the league. Some teams play their quarterbacks, some teams don't. Just how do players and quarterbacks feel themselves about the concept of playing in preseason?
Nobody really wants to play in preseason until you get on the sideline and see everyone else playing, and then you kind of want to go out there and compete. I think that's kind of the consensus among the league, and then, it is what it is.
How much do you think that could help you mentally for playing or losing the game before you get to week one? And if you can't, how do you kind of adjust for that, getting what you need out of the season?
I think it would help. However many plays I would get, I think it would help. But, we had the same thing last year. We didn't have any preseason. We went out there and, we didn't play great game one, but we went out and executed. So we have that experience, which I think will help me if I don't get out there.
Is it something you try to lobby for, potentially, with one preseason game left after Friday? Are you going to do that?
I've been lobbying.
Okay.
I've been lobbying.
How does Joe Burrow lobby to get into the preseason?
Just saying what plays I might like against Miami. Third downs, first couple plays. I don't know. Just throw some plays out there, put it in their head.
Just throw some plays out there and put it in their head. I love it. You see him with his nice new bright pearly white teeth. I've been putting some stuff out there. What kind of plays I want to participate in. What I would do in this situation and stuff. So, like I said, I think there's a good chance that he is going to play at least the first series in the preseason. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Now we got Friday night. We got the Bengals' second preseason game. Saturday night. If you guys, which is already closed up, but Orange Arrow has his fantasy league draft Saturday night. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is the second annual charity fantasy football league by the Orange Arrow draft party. So even if you're not in the league, come down, have a couple beers, have some fun with us. It's going to be a good time. Arrow is going to be going live on his channel. So if you guys are subscribed to my channel, go subscribe to Orange Arrow. He's on every Wednesday night, I think. And he does the fantasy league show. And we'll be talking about the league that we're all in, the league that I plan on dominating and winning, which I'm completely kidding. That's tongue in cheek. But he's going to be going live on there from Kitty Sports Bar. Like I said, it's this Saturday at 4 o'clock, and it's at West 3rd Street downtown. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I can't wait till this weekend. Watch the Bengals beat up on the football team. Go hang out with Arrow and everybody who's going to be there and drink some beers and have some fun. It's going to be a blast. All right. So that brings me to, like I said earlier, I am exclusively live streaming directly to Who-Dey Nation. So if you're on Who-Dey Nation, you got to bring the man who started Who-Dey Nation. He's none other than Josh Iles. Josh, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, Jeff? Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Thanks for joining. I am excited about what I heard from Joe Burrow and Zach. And dude, I'm ready for the season. I don't know about how about you?
Yeah, me too. Honestly, the whole offseason, everything they've been saying and doing in the course of like him recovering from this injury has kind of gone along the same tracks of what they've been saying. Like he's gonna be ready by week one. We haven't had these like in the first week of the preseason where they're like, well, maybe he won't, maybe it's week 2 or 3. It seems like it's as close to a sure thing as you can make it. I'm excited.
I'm excited. I mean, they pretty much, Joe Burrow pretty much announced that at minicamp that, hey, I'm going to be ready game one, yeah. And I said that from the get-go because if you guys remember, I compared it to Carson Palmer's injury because it's basically the same injury. And Carson was back and he played in the preseason and was back for game one and he got hurt in January.
Right. He got hurt in the wild card game. So.
Right. Exactly. Not to bring up bad memories or anything, but 15, 17 years later, how many years later is medicine's better. Joe Burrow's back and ready. I think he could have taken a snap in minicamp and ran around and played.
Yeah. I'm with I don't think he should play against Washington, but I think he will play a few drives against in the last preseason game.
I think so too. The guy I cannot wait to see on defense is Larry Ogunjobi. He has been an absolute beast from what I've seen in practice. I cannot wait to see him in live action.
As long as he can make sure that hamstring stays healthy.
Yeah.
He was playing out of position in Cleveland, but he's really kind of going to fill that Geno role. I'm excited for it too. I think that D-line is going to be a lot nicer than people realize.
Exactly. And I don't know if I said this or not, but there was no update on Joseph Osai. But from everything that I've read, I don't think it's broke. You know, I don't know if it's a bad bruise or anything. It sounds like he should be good to go.
Yeah,
Probably with a brace or something. What's that?
From what I've been seeing, it might be like some kind of chip fracture. But they think that like I think from what I've seen is like he still could be ready by week 1, but like maybe wearing a cast.
Right, and I don't think it's gonna be like a big club on his hand. You know,
it'd just be like a soft cast, like
right, exactly,
like a puffy glove,
which is good because then he can actually like use his fingers and help him. But I mean, he was the guy that I was most impressed with on the preseason game Saturday. Him, Chris Evans,
and Tom Brady.
Yeah, third play of the game. That was awesome. When I was sitting next to Mrs. Ice, and I'm like, "Did you see that?"
Yeah, I've been talking some trash.
It was cool. So, hey, just let everybody know you're making comments on on Facebook. Please go to the YouTube channel Sports with Strawberry Ice and please subscribe because we got lots of comments here. It says Facebook user. So just go there and I can actually get to bring your comment up and use your name. But we have one here from Facebook user says this season is going to be fire. Can't wait, Who-Dey. And then somebody agrees with you, Josh. So you're doing something right already. They agree with you.
The anonymous people. They got to approve the StreamYard.
Exactly. Approve the StreamYard or just go to my channel. Give me a subscription on there. That'd be cool. Now another one, this one. I think they're talking about Ogunjobi and Reader, and Reader only played I want to say like 2 or 3 snaps Saturday, but he looks healthy. I'm really excited to see Reader and Ogunjobi right next to each other, and I said this last year. I was excited to see Reader and Mike Daniels and Geno Atkins. Well, we never got to see that rotate. And if you watch my show, I'm all about defensive rotations. Rotations on the outside, rotations on the inside. And we have a shot to have that this year, as long as they all stay healthy.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it with the defensive lines now. It's like the modern way of football. Kind of like with running backs, typically you don't often like give your running back 30 carries anymore. It's like 15 and 12 to another guy or whatever, you know. You got to rotate the D-line. It only makes sense when you can, especially this year, like you talked about, we're probably a good 6-7 deep on the D-line on rotational guys that can play.
And if the other guy I'd like to see flash Friday night would be Cam Sample. He made some good plays. Don't get me wrong on Saturday. I think has every bit of ability as Osai does. So I think he's got a chance to do the same thing that Osai does. And if we can get both those guys playing like that, we got two losses right there. You know, of what we lost, we might potentially added 2 guys. And Hendrickson, he's a freaking nut. That dude, he's full gas all the time.
I heard Chris that he's like also a trash talker a little bit, which I kind of like.
Yeah, well, I'll put it this way. When he's walking out to practice, I don't even want to talk to him because he just has that mean mug on his face, like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, and that's about all I get from him. But he's locked in and ready to go. Chris has a comment here in the chat. He said, "I think that this is a top 10 defense this year." I'm not going to go there yet. I mean, because I've said if the defense is as good or better, like I think they're going to be better, I will stop calling Lou Armadillo.
If the defense is top 20, we could make the playoffs.
Dude, if it is a top 10, we can go pretty far in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it won't be top 10, but like if it's top 20, like we can make the playoffs with that kind of defense.
I think we it's going to be top 20. I will give you that. And I think the offensive line is, and I want to explain this of why I feel differently about Michael Jordan compared to Bobby Hart last year. Because last year I kept going, I don't know about Bobby Hart. You know, they're saying he's improving, yada, yada. I said last year, and you guys can go watch it back last year. I think that wasn't when I was going live. That was all my my videos. That Bobby Hart, I said, I hope the coaches are right. And I hope I'm wrong. Because I didn't see anything of him getting any better, or I didn't really see anything of the offensive line getting better. Michael Jordan looked a lot better, and I know it's only one preseason game, and I tell everybody to take it with a grain of salt. But I thought he looked a lot better than he looked in any game last year because you did not hear his name called. So I'm okay, and everybody's on Jackson Carman, and I think you got to pull back a minute. It's very difficult for him to go and make his NFL debut in a new position that he's never played before in the NFL. Jackson Carman is working hard. Like Dan Horde said yesterday on my show, he's staying after practice with Frank Pollock and working hard. So just because Michael Jordan, which I think Michael Jordan's going to be our starting right guard, at least for game one. But that doesn't.
He's playing right guard?
It might be left guard. I always get him confused. That's why you just say guard. He's going to be one of our starting guards, to put it that way.
Yeah.
In game one. But that does not mean that Jackson Carman won't eventually be the other starting guard, or it could be Deontay Smith because he has really impressed a lot of people.
Right. Or, Deontay Smith, I don't think he's going to start right away. And even like you say, if Jackson Carman doesn't start right away, it's not the end of the world. Linemen take time to develop. Maybe we get to a situation down the road where our starters are Michael Jordan and Jackson Carman at both guards. I've also seen things about how some of the reasons that Michael Jordan was playing late in the season last year was he was one of the few guys that listened to Jim Turner's instructions, and a lot of the players didn't agree with his teachings and instructions, and so that just didn't get them on the field. So he was out there doing these things that seemed to be poor technique or poor blocking schemes. So maybe it was making him look a little worse than he actually is in reality. Yeah, I've read that before. He was literally doing exactly what Turner was telling him to do, and it wasn't working. Right.
And that's and again, I'm not trying to say Frank Pollock is the greatest offensive line coach ever, but he is such a big upgrade from what we had last year, and I think it's showing. Let's just look at Billy Price. I mean, he played center almost the whole first half. I thought he looked fine, to be honest. Not that he's going to challenge Trey Hopkins for the starting job, but I think he's made strides in that alone, because I'll tell you, like I said, I was up on the bridge. Billy didn't look very good in the first part of training camp. He's looked a lot better here lately. So again, I think we're seeing the work that Frank Pollock is put into these guys, and they're listening and they're all buying in.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Price started week 1 or 2 just because of Hopkins' timeline's a little further back than Joe's was when he injured himself. I think Hopkins got hurt week 17.
Yeah.
So I could understand that, and also playing center and on the line, it's a lot more of a weight bearing position. You know what I mean? So I would understand if he needed a little extra time, and that's fine because, like people have talked about, Price played the best season of his career under Pollock, so maybe we'll get that for a few games.
Right, exactly. I mean, I remember saying that last year when he got hurt. I'm like, man, it's week 17. That's gonna be a lot. And exactly what you said. It's weight bearing. He's got to bend over, hike the ball, get up real quick. And so I wouldn't be surprised at that. I think, as Zach said in the clip, that he's planning on, or he's trying to get Burrow and Trey ready for game 1. Doesn't mean that Burrow's playing game 1, but doesn't mean that Trey's going to. But but I'm not worried right now if Billy Price is in there for a little while.
Right,
It's looked good.
And he might get say he gets a 3-4 game stretch. He might make the realization this is a free or a contract year, and realize this is might be the last tape I get before I enter free agency and people are offering me contracts. So you know how that can have that effect on guys trying to make extra money. He might go out there and play some of the best ball, and at the least be serviceable at center. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's all we're asking at the offensive line is to be serviceable. To me, and I look at everything through orange-colored sunglasses a little bit too much sometimes. I will admit that. But from what I've seen from the offensive line developing, I'm a little more optimistic about how they're looking compared to how they started. So I think we could have a fairly good offensive line this year. Now, let's get to a comment here from Facebook user, which again, if you guys, you got to give StreamYard the okay to let them use your name, or you can just go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel
Any comment there, and your name will pop up. But the undrafted rookie Hodge for Marshall making a name for himself after game one. It's another one that stood out. I think he was a high motor guy, and he was always around the ball, and he was like Osai. He didn't stop. They chased the ball down, and that's awesome.
And he's a linebacker, right?
I'm pretty sure he is. To be honest, I don't know offhand, but I think he is.
And he looks pretty big, though. I think he can probably be that because he, was getting into there on the pass rush. I think he can be that tweener edge guy as well. Maybe his versatility gives him a chance to make the team. And he can play on special teams.
Yeah, versatility is good. So that's always a good thing to help you make the team, especially when you're undrafted. And somebody says, "What's up, homie?" or the homie. I don't know who that is.
These guys. You need to accept the StreamYard.
All right. The Natural says the biggest mistake in Zach Taylor's era was bringing Jim Turner, on board. I agree with that. But he was also kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because Pollock left. Pollock for some reason wanted to go to the Jets. So that was Pollock's decision to leave. And everything with Zach coming in, he came, if everybody remembers, he came in so late. He couldn't really do anything till after the Super Bowl. So I think he had like 2 weeks to get his staff together and everything before the combine even started. So I know that they're not going to say that was an issue, but that was an issue. I think it was.
Yeah, I agree. That's a short time frame to put together a staff. And, at that time, maybe Pollock just didn't want to be with a brand new head coach, and maybe they had different philosophies or whatever. But it is what it is. We got him back now, so I'm excited about that. Oh, one thing I wanted to say with us talking about the offensive line, I think it's a pretty bad sign if our week one starters are not the final preseason game starters. Like, we don't, we don't know who our week one starters are by the end of the preseason.
I'm sure they're going to have that. I would think they would have that figured out by then, because this whole preseason is different because you only got 3 games instead of 4, and they're actually going to have a whole, well, not a week off of practice, but a week off for a game before the actual season starts. So, that is going to be an interesting thing because, things can change in a week. They could say, all right, these guys are all starting, on Sunday there at 4:00 versus the Dolphins. And then they have another week of practice, and who knows, maybe Jackson Carman all of a sudden it just clicks, and he's like, wow, maybe we'll start him. So I agree with what you're saying, but the way the schedule's set up, it could be different.
Yeah, I agree. I just would hope myself personally that in the last preseason game, the offense that is starting on week 1 gets in total 2 to 4 drives together,
right.
And surely there's going to be guys that play more than that, because in the last preseason game, some guys played that 20, 30 snaps, guys that are going to be starters.
Yeah, and like Dan Hort said yesterday, is that going to be the dress rehearsal? Because usually, the third game was the dress rehearsal, and the fourth game, nobody really played. So they're all trying to figure that out now.
Right. Now it could be this week, but obviously you don't have guys like Joe and Hopkins that could play or whatever.
Right, exactly. Facebook user here says, how do you feel about Spain starting? I actually like Spain. I'm a big fan of Spain.
Yeah, I think he might end up starting by week 1. I think he's sitting out against Washington, but I hear he's on track to be healthy soon.
Yeah, I know he was out practicing yesterday. I'll tell you that, because he was out there. I said, "What's up there, Mr. Undrafted?" He's like, "Yeah." so he's been out. He was out there practicing yesterday. I don't know today because I didn't get a chance to see him. And
it might just be like precautionary. They don't,
he wasn't one of the guys that Zach said would not play. So
okay, maybe I missed. Probably think
so. I think he most likely will be out there. I think he's pretty much locked up that guard spot. And that's the thing, dude. Everybody's freaking out about the offensive line. We are really only worried about one spot. We know when Trey Hopkins is healthy, he's going to be the center. We know Jonah Williams is our left tackle. We know Riley Reef is a right tackle, and then left tackle is going to be Spain. Or right tackle is going to be Spain. Sorry, I always get that confused. So we're only worried about the left tackle situation, and I think that's a huge step up compared to last year. Which who knows who was going to play?
Yeah,
I think left tackle, left guard.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you. There's a lot less question marks. I think there would have been I mean, we upgraded, but I think there would have been less question marks last year if we were a little healthier. That's the big thing this year. We can't have injuries hurt our line like it did last year.
Exactly. Now, this is an interesting question, and this has to do with how good Patrick did in the second half last year. But they said, can we make Patrick our goal line guy? Every team has one of those guys. I don't know because they usually only have 3 running backs. I don't know if you keep a 4th one.
You can keep a 4th, but the thing is that I don't agree with about that. I like Patrick and the way he runs and everything, but I think that like if you actually realize like how Mixon's put together, like he's that guy. Mixon's 6'1", 230. Like,
yeah,
he can lower his shoulder just fine.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Mixon, like they said, is going to be out there for most every snap. And somebody asked me, I think it was yesterday or day before, I don't remember.
With the goal line thing in mind as well, P. Ryan is a very stout guy. He's like 5'10", probably 200 pounds. Like,
exactly. So we got guys who can knock the ball in. I mean, and like I said, somebody asked me, I think it was yesterday, what my prediction was for Mixon. I think he's got a chance to have 2,000 all-purpose yards just from scrimmage.
Yeah,
because I've seen them break him out wide, for going as a wide receiver in some of these play patterns they've had.
Yeah, and even dump offs over the middle because of how much coverage will be occupied with other guys.
Exactly. Jeff Who-Dey Holmes says, do you think Trent Irvin has a fighting chance to make the team? What's your opinion, Josh?
As much as I want to say yes, I don't think so. He would have to have an available opportunity to be one of our punt or kick returners, and that's not something that's up for grabs. And the wide receiver room is just too deep.
Well, I'll put it this way. I thought he was almost a lock, but I want Darius Phillips to punt return. That's who I want.
Yeah.
And Darius has been the number 1 guy out there.
That's why I was thinking, it's
right. So I agree with you. At first I thought he was going to. Now, like, I don't think he might not.
I think if you're saying that Mike Thomas, if he has a spot on the roster, then he can maybe beat him there and take that spot because Thomas might fumble himself out of the roster spot.
Yeah, then that's where that's more of where I think the competition would come.
Yeah.
Is that 6th wide receiver because all it takes to be
we carried 7 wide receivers as well, so that's not out of the question.
Yeah, it all depends on the special teams and if they can play and stuff like that. Right. And so there's still things to be ironed out, but I think that's good. That shows that we actually have talent, and these guys, if they don't make it here, somebody's going to pick them up. Yeah. So then that's again. I keep going back to when with the 5 straight playoffs. That's what happened every year. We cut guys, and other teams would pick them up. That's a good sign, meaning we have an excess of talent, and we're getting to that point again.
Right. It would look bad if you had to cut guys, and then like nobody's even sniffing on them. Like.
Right. Exactly.
Have a bad look.
Exactly. All right. Jacob says, I think T. Higgins is in store for a monster year. I agree with it because he's changed his body, and everybody keeps talking about Chase here being the X. We got 2 X's, to be honest.
I mean, I'm really curious to see like if there is one guy out of our receiver group that emerges like statistically, or if it's more level because like especially with the added game, like I think it's very possible you could see all 3 of those guys get 1,000 yards. I think 1,000-yard pace in the 16-game season was something around 60 yards. So that means it's less than that in a 17-game season. And I think all those guys can get 55 every week,
Right. Either way, it's going to be fun to watch this team. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And I always want to preface this, too, to remind everybody, because everybody always thinks I'm crazy because I got the Bengals going 11-6. I think that's what I said. But you have to look at it this way. If Joe Burrow does not get injured last year, we're winning, I think, over half of those games the second half of the season. I really do, because the offense was starting to click.
Yeah, and it really bothers me when outsiders like try and talk about how bad we were last year, because if you're a fan like you and I are, and a lot of people are watching those games, you realize There were 5 games we lost by like less than a touchdown. And we had Joe Burrow for 10 out of the 16 games. I just think, like, when you were literally, less than 25, 30 points away from a 500 record, that doesn't make you that bad of a team.
No, exactly. And that's the thing, too, is where if Joe Burrow was healthy at the end of last year, we make that jump.
We would have had a couple other wins in that second half.
Yeah, that's the progression that experts say, well, you have to do this before we can give you a shot saying you're going to be good. We didn't make that jump because Burrow got hurt.
Hey,
but I always look at it as a blessing. Yeah, exactly. You read my mind. Exactly what I was about to say. A blessing in disguise. We get Jamar Chase, who's going to make us even better than what we could be, without him. So I would rather Joe not get hurt, but the outcome is getting us Jamar Chase. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and Joe's fine. He's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about his knee at all. So
and people want to compare to Palmer and talk about how Palmer came back timid. I remember that pretty vividly. He only there was timidness in his play, but I think that only affected him for a few games, and then he had his feet under him. He didn't have that bad of a season his first year back.
No, that drives me nuts when people say that. Like, oh, he was never the same after his
that's not
knee
true.
Injury. And that's not true.
He's a borderline Hall of Famer.
He I think it was the second year or second year after he was back. Chad Johnson and TJ Houshmandzadeh, both of them had 100 catches. So it wasn't it didn't affect him. What affected Carson, I think, and everybody forgets about this. He got his shoulder injured in Cleveland. And he never got surgery. He just rehabbed it.
Yeah, that was the Fitzpatrick year.
Yes, you're exactly right. That's where I think his accuracy kind of went down a little bit after that. So it wasn't the knee injury. It was the shoulder injury, I think, a couple years later.
Yeah.
And that drives me nuts when people say, oh, it was never the same. I'm like, did you watch the games? Yes, he was. He made the Pro Bowl, I think, at least once.
Yeah,
that.
Guys, I think if you really look at his career, he's probably – if he would have had 3 or 4 playoff wins, he might be arguably a Hall of Famer.
we could say that about a lot of former Bengals, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. Right. Same thing with Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson's got better stats than a lot of guys that are in there.
Yeah. If Chad could have had if it would have worked out with him in New England and he could have won a Super Bowl,
or if he just went to an AFC Championship game one year with the Bengals or something,
coulda, shoulda, woulda. All right, the natural says, do you think going to next season that the guard is still going to be a position that needs to be addressed? Well, that's kind of hard to answer right now, but I do think we have. Yeah, Josh.
Especially with Deontay Smith.
Right. That's exactly what I was about to say. With Deontay Smith, with him making the progressions that he's making, I mean, right now he's above Jackson Carman. So if you got those two, I'm assuming Jackson Carman's going to make progressions and get better. So the other option, what I've said is I think Deontay Smith could be our future right tackle. I'm not saying next year we might be able to get another year out of Riley Reef, but I think we got two very plausible people that could be plug and play at guards for us in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it won't be nearly as much of a need, but probably something we will address with 1 or 2 picks. At least offensive line, not necessarily.
There's no reason you shouldn't draft at least one offensive lineman a year. I mean, it's such a big premium position, and
when you need 9-10 guys on
right.
That.
And Deontay Smith shows you can find a solid guy in the 5th round. So you should always draft at least one, I think, every year. So I don't, just for depth and like Dan Horde said yesterday. Offensive linemen always get injured. It's a very tough position to play. So you need depth. You need multiple players. So, yes, I think they should always draft that. Facebook user here says, again, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to Sports Strawberry Ice, and your name will pop up. Do you think that Moss will make the team? I actually do. I think he is going to be our 3rd tight end. I've said that since they signed him.
Yeah, I think especially if it's it comes down to it's maybe a toss-up between the next guy. He'll make it just because he has the rapport with Joe, and they're close. If you've seen any of the off-season stuff, they went to all of them went to a Cincy FC game, and it was only maybe 5 guys and Moss was amongst them. So that like when you have somebody that puts your franchise quarterbacks is even in a just like more comfortable space, that's kind of going to give you an edge on staying around.
Right, exactly. John Wick says first says Irvin looked good too, and then he said he also wants to see what Puka Williams does on Friday.
Yeah,
dude, I don't think Puka Williams. I know he was a big name that lots of Bengals fans were talking about. I don't think he's making this team.
He won't make it, but I hope we keep him on the practice squad.
Right, and that's a very viable option. So we'll have to see what he does on Friday if he gets in. Which I don't. Did he even get in Saturday? I don't remember.
Not that I recall. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't remember him being in there.
Just have to get.
Yeah, Jake says the Reds are not making the playoffs. Fortunately, yes, I agree with you. I've kind of said that in the last couple of weeks. But anyway, okay. We're not talking Reds today. Just talking Bengals. Reds are depressing and they irritate me right now. All right. Facebook user Moss, the inside track on tight end 3 spot, but must show up on special team tape during PS to secure that completely. Yeah, he's going to be on special teams.
Moss, yeah, maybe. I don't know. He's obviously going to have to play a few special teams, maybe on field goal and stuff like that. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not like overly huge about him. Like I wish for the best, and if he makes a team and he makes us better and is getting catches, then that's great. But he doesn't stick out to me as somebody that we got to keep around.
Well, the only reason I want to keep him around, and it's just the Joe Burrow connection. Him and Moss had a thing. It's just like him and Chase had a thing at LSU. And if there's any chance they can get any of that magic here, it's worth it. But I mean, we have a very good number 1 starting tight end in CJ Zama. He is going to have a breakout year, long as he stays healthy, because he was one of Joe Burrow's, big targets last year, the first 2-3 games that he played. So I think Thaddeus might make the team, but he's got to get some playing time from CJ first.
Yeah. I mean, I think Uzomah might be primed for a breakout too. That's why I said I'm so curious how these passing yards from Joe are going to get dispersed. Like, who's going to step up? Because I could see a situation where Uzomah gets over 60 catches this year. You know what I mean? Because like I mentioned with Mixon earlier, the middle of the field is probably going to be wide open with having Chase on one side, Higgins on the other side, and Boyd in the slot. And then if you put out Alden Tate and do 4 wide, or another receiver.
Like I said, they kick Mixon out there too. I've seen him out there too.
Yeah, between Chase, Higgins, and Boyd, one of them is going to get single coverage, and probably 2.
That's the thing is, we spread them out. They're not going to be able to double team anybody or everybody, I should say. Yeah. So it's good. I mean, you're going to have a linebacker on one of these guys, and they're going to cook them. So
just give Joe 3.5 seconds, and we're good.
Yeah, and so it's. And I'm not trying to. I don't try to overhype things. I do, I guess, sometimes. But I really think we have a very good chance to be really good this year. And what I really loved about what I saw Saturday night was the run defense. If we could stop the run like that against the Buccaneers, now we did it against their 1s and their 2s and their 3s. If that translates to the regular season versus the Clowns and the Ratbirds, we're going to be in good shape, because that's how they beat us. I know people say Zims came on here and said that Lamar Jackson's the A on PS4 or whatever for Madden, which he's right. But if you guys remember the first game against the Ratbirds last year, they kept Jamar in the pocket, and I think that was Darius Smith. I think he was in charge of the spy or whatever, keeping him in there
all the time, man.
Yeah, and he got hurt, and he wasn't there for the second game. That's the whole key. If you can keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket and make him throw the ball, he might beat us, but I'll take my chances on that. And I'll take my chances on Baker Mayfield.
Easier said than done, keeping Lamar Jackson in the pocket.
Yes, it is. It is very, very. It's very easy to say.
I agree. So I think the defense is like that's what they're more geared towards is being a run stopping defense. Even when you look at the secondary and the guys they brought in, the secondary players, they're more like zone coverage, zone blitzing, press guys, like guys that like to get physical in the secondary, which we haven't had for a few years. We've had a lot of guys out there in the secondary that like can't make a tackle to save their lives, and you just get bullied on the edge. So I'm excited for that. You know, with Hilton and Woozy, everybody's been. The reports have been with Woozy. Even today, he's been the best corner in camp.
Yes, Chidre, he's been a revelation. I mean, I'm not saying that he's going to be an all-pro or anything, but that was one of the things that I read a lot about is he has a chance to be a number one cornerback. He's got to stay healthy, obviously. It didn't really work out for him in Dallas, but he has looked really good against Chase and Higgins, and he's made plays on the ball. And you've seen my show enough times, John. You know where I got upset last year, where we back off 5 yards every time, they try to throw the ball on us. I mean, that's what we did.
I hate that.
Yeah, and that's what they did in the Indianapolis game last year.
I feel like that's been a thing with the Bengals for a long time. I remember watching Pac-Man do it, and they'd sit back 8 yards to go, and they'd sit 10 yards back, and you're like, why?
Right. But one thing I'll tell you from me watching it on the bridge, I haven't seen them do that in training camp, and I didn't see them do that Saturday night either. So hopefully that translates to this year. Yeah. Now let's get to, you sent me, I guess you posted the schedule, first 5 games or whatever.
Yeah, I posted that
Nation.
Today. Asked what people's predictions were, the first 5 that are pictured there. Got a lot of feedback, probably over 100 comments. What's your first 5 there?
My first 5, well, on my prediction list, I got us losing to the Squealers, to be honest, which I'll, if I can find out, I'll bring that up here. But I really do think we have a chance to be undefeated going into that Green Bay game. I think the Vikings is going to be a challenge. That one, that's a good one to start to go against a Zimmer defense. Now the Bears, I'm not too worried about that one, to be honest, because
we get to play Andy Dalton.
Yeah, we get to play Andy Dalton, or Chase, the kid from Ohio State.
Yeah, Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Thank you. I always want to say Chase Young. Justin Fields. So I think it's a winnable game. Now that's an away game, so every time away games are hard. And then I picked us losing against the Squealers because Mike Tomlin just doesn't freaking lose, and it's hard to beat them in Pittsburgh. But I really do believe we have a chance to go undefeated. Now, Jacksonville, I think we're going to win that. That's the Ring of Honor game. That's going to be the 81 Super Bowl team is going to be back. That
game.
I'm sorry?
I hope that's a good game, the Jacksonville game. I hope because, I like the hype behind the quarterbacks. They're like potentially the 2 future quarterbacks along, obviously with Herbert and a few guys. But these are the past 2 number 1 overall picks.
Exactly. I see here, Facebook user says these guys going 4-1 and losing to Green Bay. Another Facebook user says 4-1.
Yeah,
and
I'm probably going to lean around like 3-2 with Pittsburgh and Green Bay being the losses, but I can see those games being won as well.
Exactly. Now, Sports Kid here says if Jonah gets hurt, I'd trade him. Well, if Jonah gets hurt, you can't trade him because he's hurt. So
right,
and
like it's you would be hurting yourself more than anything because his value would be at his lowest. And
and the thing is, I always want to preface this because everybody's like, well, he didn't finish the season last year. Okay. If they were in a playoff run last year, Mixon would have played, Jonah would have played, it'd have been fine. So everybody's got to realize those injuries were not that bad. The season was over. There was no reason to try to put them back out there. So that's where I always want to remind people that yes, Jonah didn't finish the whole year, but if it was a playoff season, he would have finished.
People get too caught up. It's professional sports. You got to separate yourself from this idea that playing for pride and stuff. If it's a lost season, like these guys aren't going to go out there and risk further injury for nothing.
Well, and it's not even them. I mean, they might want to play. The Bengals probably. It's just like the Bengals don't want Joe Burrow to play right now.
Yeah, and sure, some of them as competitors probably want to play, but there's probably so many people in their corner that are giving them advice, and you know what I mean. Like these guys are, it's the tipping point of like with your contracts. You know, if I tear up my knee again, like that's losing me $20 million on my career earnings. You know what I mean?
Right. So speaking of contracts, since you brought it up, what's your thoughts on Jesse Bates now that Jamal Adams signed his $75 million contract?
Yeah, I think Adams was like 70 million.
70 million, yeah. I think it's 18 million a year, $70 million. I think that's what it was.
I think you can offer Bates similar, the same, just about the same. It's a lot, but I think he's worth it, and the cap's going to be going up next year, so it doesn't hurt you as much as you think. My opinion, I think they should front load it with Burrow still on a rookie deal. We're front loading with Hendrickson, so in reality, if you front load him too, 2 years down the line, we can load up even more with a couple of free agents.
Exactly. That's what they've done to most of their contracts here lately. They're all front loaded, and that's exactly what you said. So you get that off the books, and then you can do it again in a couple of years. And that's the thing.
Still have those guys under contract,
right? And that's the thing right now. We have a lot of guys under contract, so that's why we're set, and that's why the national media is like, oh, you guys will be good next year. I was like, no, we're going to be good this year. Now's the time for us to take our shot at the playoffs and championships and stuff like that. Now's the time to make those strides because we have everybody locked in and under contract, except for Bates. But I really am confident it's going to happen. Now's the time to do it, not later. Because we're not going to wait. You're just wasting another year of Joe Burrow getting closer to making that $100 million contract.
I think this year is a huge stride where we're contending for a playoffs and a playoff victory possibly, but it really is like next year that and especially with another nice off season like we've been having, next year could be like where we're just primed to try and make a Super Bowl. That's what that would be. Next year would be year 3 with Burrow. From what everybody's described him as, by year 3 with Burrow, he's going to be absolute veteran.
He's gonna be the best quarterback in football.
Especially if we get 17 games under his belt this year and maybe a playoff game or two, that'll be huge.
I mean, I'll just tell you, just watching him in practice for the last couple of weeks, from where he started at the beginning of training camp to where he is now. I mean, what day was that? Today's Wednesday, so Monday. He dropped it was Monday. He dropped 2 absolute dimes to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in the back of the end zone where nobody else could catch it. And I saw him, the things that he was trying to do at the beginning of training camp, where he's trying to fit him into these really tight windows, bullet passes. They weren't getting in there at the beginning of training camp. Yeah. He's getting him in there now. And I mean, it's like, that much, but it's getting in there. And that's where the confidence is coming from, Joe, and his knee and everything else. And those are not every quarterback can make those plays. No. So it's good.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I was thinking about this as I was watching his week to week last year. And after watching Andy Dalton for 8-9 years, the throws that Joe was making in those first 10 games, I was seeing many throws that I saw that Andy Dalton couldn't make.
Right.
In plays that he just couldn't make. And then another thing, just like you were saying with the practice and him getting better, that's another thing I noticed about his play and from week to week is he would struggle in some small category and not do well here. And then the next week you see him come back and directly improve at that thing. And it's to me, it's just it's that kind of mentality that's turns out to be a really great player, where he just attacks his weaknesses every week.
Exactly. Well, I want to bring up a pass play that I wish I had a video of it. If I can ever find it, I'm gonna play it on here. But it was a great just anticipation throw by Joe last year, and it was to Boyd, where Boyd was in the middle of the field and he's going this way. Then Burrow sees the opening and he throws the ball over here. Boyd turns. Burrow already threw the ball in the air, and he turns and bam, the ball's right there. That's from a rookie.
And that's all insane trust in your guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's going one direction, and you throw it up in the air, and no, he's going to see it and adjust and turn the other direction and go get it, go get that.
And the thing is, it hit him right in the hands. I mean, it was right there. I mean, it almost hit him in the face mask. What was that?
I remember that. I think that was against the Colts, maybe.
It might have been. I could see the play. I can't remember what team it was, and if I could ever find the video,
right, it was in the middle of the field, right?
Yes, exactly, right in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So, I just want to tell everybody again, if you're watching on Who-Dey Nation, we're doing this exclusively on Who-Dey Nation today on Facebook. Do me a favor, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Or if you don't want to do that, so we know who your names are, go and give StreamYard access to your name so your names pop up, so it doesn't just come up as Facebook user. And tonight, I know some people in the chat said you're not talking Reds. No, I'm not talking Reds. But tonight, I will be recording an episode with the guys that do the Red Leg Report. They're on Twitter. They do a Red Leg Report every Saturday. I think they're from Bowling Green, Kentucky. I cannot remember exactly. But we will be recording an episode, or not the whole episode, just a segment for tonight, and I'll be airing it tomorrow. So we would do a little bit of Reds conversation tomorrow. And also Saturday night, if you guys are looking for a good time and you want to watch some old guys drink some beer and do a fantasy draft, you can join us at Kitty's for the Orange Arrows fantasy draft party, which, Josh, I'm planning on dominating this. I'm just letting you know. And I talk a lot of smack about it, but I'm going to suck. I've only done fantasy one time, and I wasn't very good at it. But
it's full of Bengals fans. Good luck getting any good Bengals that you like.
Yeah, I know. That Burrow's gonna be like the number one pick overall, mixing. Right. But I'm picking 5th, so I got a good spot there. So if you guys are, Josh, you should just drive up from Florida and come hang out and drink some beer.
Oh yeah, hop right in the car.
But that's gonna be a lot of fun Saturday night. And Arrow will actually be on the show Friday talking about it, so it'll be good time. So anything else you got, Josh? Any points you want to bring up here about the Bengals?
No. Thanks for having me on. Make sure everybody else comes over and joins Who-Dey Nation. I think we're over 21,000 now. That's why we wanted to have you on in the group today. Obviously, you're an admin with us, but give you a little wider audience for people to see the show.
Exactly. Now, you gave away the 513 Who-Dey Nation jersey, right?
Yeah. So we did that giveaway for celebrating 20,000 members. Black home jersey of the new uniforms, 513 Who-Dey Nation as the name on the back. The winner was Kim Hamberry. The jersey's ordered. I'm just waiting to get it through shipping after a few weeks, and then I'm going to ship it out to her. And then she's going to wear it at some games, take some pictures.
There you go. Sounds
pictures with her.
Yeah. Hey, come find me. I'll be down in section 158, or I'll be well, I don't know, dude. I'm going to be in Bengal Jim's tailgate, but I got so many people want me to come to their tailgate. So I might be. You'll definitely be able to find me in section 158 in my seat. I will be there.
See you. Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, you know where to find me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because actually, I got to tell you this. I've been working on a strawberry ice hat. Bengal Jim's got his own hat, and you got Who-Dey Baby. He's got a hat, and all these guys got different hats. And I'm not really big into painting my face or anything like that, but I figure I want to do something for game day. So probably next week, for getting ready to go to the first preseason game, I'll be revealing my strawberry ice hat that I'll be wearing game day. So
nice.
I hope it doesn't look too stupid, but we'll see. So I'll have that on the show probably Friday. I'll probably make that reveal. So if I'm wearing, well, you see my face, you know what I look like. And if just look for the hat, you can find me. But Josh, I appreciate you coming on the show. And Who-Dey, brother.
Who-Dey, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. And this is nothing against any of the other Bengals Facebook groups or anything, but Josh just wanted to celebrate 20,000 members because I got a lot of other Facebook groups that let me live stream, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. I'm not trying to single anybody out, but when people help you out, I try to help them out. And just speaking of help people out, if you want to get the Jackpot Joey Burrow stuff, again, the portions of that go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Foundation. They have a website now. It is at jackpotjoey9.com. So he's got, like I said, he's got hats. He's got flags. I mean, you can see on the Joe Burrow Joey Burrow mobile there. He's got a flag on the back. And then here they got the towels and everything. So there's a lot of cool merch. And again, it goes towards the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Foundation. So I wanted to get that out there. And let's see here. Okay, let's get to a couple comments here. Jeffrey, everyone may not remember, but Carmen had to sit his first year at Clemson because he was not very good, but he learned. That's a very good point, Jeffrey. I actually forgot about that. So, and that's what I keep trying to tell everybody, because I'm like, and I know James Rapine and Jake Lisco have said this on Locked On Bengals, and I agree with them to an extent. If you're a second-round pick and they pick you to take on this position and you're going against the twos, you should look better. I agree with that. But sometimes people develop different. It's just the way it is. And he's learning a new position. So everybody just needs to give Jackson Carman some time. Be happy that Deontay Smith, who was a fifth-round pick, is really excelling. So we have a chance of moving forward. Maybe those two are our future guards moving forward, and we try to get a tackle later on. I don't know. But when you have a fifth-round pick who's excelling, and I'm fairly confident that Jackson Carman is going to excel enough to be our other guard, that's a good sign. That's what we want. So let's give Jackson Carman a little bit of a break, and I think we're going to be good. Let's see here. Now you say, Stuart, he had a serious injury. That not exactly true. It wasn't. Yes, it was back surgery. It was not serious. I don't know what you consider serious. I mean, serious is like you're getting vertebrae fused and cut out and stuff like that. He did have some stuff. I don't think it was that serious. So, but I do agree with you. He did have back issues, but it has not been a problem since then. So, okay, Stuart, what's up? Do you think Chris Evans will have a better game this Friday? Better than what he did last week? That would be awesome, because I thought Chris Evans played really well Saturday night. So if he has an even better game, sign me up for that, because I can see when I saw 25 running around there, I thought it was Gio again. There's a couple times I'm like, go Gio. Oh, no, wait, that's Captain America. Never mind. That's Chris Evans. So I hope he has an even better game this year. And we got Stuart some more. How about the Joe Burrow interviews today? He looks solid and super hard. Yeah, I mean, if you missed the beginning of the show, I played some clips from Joe Burrow of his press conference, a clip from Zach too. So Stuart, if you missed any of that, go back and rewind the show, and you can watch it, or you can listen to it on the podcast. And I appreciate all of you guys taking the time to listen, watch, comment. And that brings me to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. And like I said, I'm exclusively doing something on Who-Dey Nation today, but I'm sure it got shared to all the other Bengals groups, and all Bengals groups are great. I think everybody should just get along. We're all Bengals fans. We're all on multiple different groups, so I don't want to hear this. Well, this group's better than this group. That group's better than that group. We're all Bengals fans. So everybody should just enjoy being part of each group and enjoy the group for what it is. But the groups that let me live stream, and I appreciate every single one of them, are Who-Dey Nation, Bengals Nation, Bengals Who-Dey Nation, Cincinnati Bengals The Jungle, and then you have the Reds group, Cincinnati Reds, riding third, heading for home, Bearcat Country, the Ohio State Bucknuts, and then you got the Ice Bar. And then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. The Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trennepohl. That's TRENNEPOHL. TikTok is at Iceman90. And like I said, if you guys enjoy, I know maybe some of you guys are my age, and you're like, why are you on TikTok? I'm not out there dancing. I'm doing, like I did a Jamar Chase clip of where, he got the screen or the pass out to the side, and Jonah Williams kicked out there and just leveled the Buccaneer in front of him. I said, AFC North, you should be scared. And somebody commented on there, well, they're still not going to the playoffs. And I just commented back 11-6. Yeah, we're going to the playoffs, dude. I really do think we're going to go to the playoffs this year. So it's fun stuff like that on TikTok. that I would greatly appreciate if you guys would go follow me on there. Follow me on Twitter. I'm getting so close to 1,000 on Twitter. I'm like, I'm over it. I'm over 100 away from it. It's 800. I'm at 887 or something like that. So please follow me on all my social media platforms. And I'll be pulling a sound off later on tonight. So if you missed any of the show, any of the interviews I played with Zach Taylor or Joe Burrow or Josh coming on the show, and you don't want to sit there for an hour and listen to it, just go to the podcast and listen to it there. It's on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, I think. There's always new ones popping up that I found out that it's on there. So basically wherever you get your podcast, I am there. YouTubers, my originals. Like I said, if it wasn't for you guys, 2.5 years ago, I started doing these videos and you guys started liking what I was doing, and I rolled it into this, and I've gotten to interview Dan Hoard, and I've got to interview Dave Lapham and Chris Welch and Sim Who-Dey and John Sheeran and Anthony Cosenza and all these guys. It's been so much fun doing this. And I owe it to you guys for first watching me and watching me now. I appreciate it. I am up to 1,308 subscribers. That is awesome. I appreciate, as always, every single one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. Other than that, as my boy Jeremy Dimebag D's Nuts would say, remember one thing and one thing only, and that is you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati, so act like it. Who-Dey? I don't know what in the world I'm going to watch tonight. There's no Reds. They played earlier today and lost. No Bengals. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch my own show again. We'll see. See you guys tomorrow. And that's just sports, baby. See ya! You're about to enter the world of Strawberry Ice and the Ice Cave. Let's go!
The league rule was you're not really supposed
Probably
to
take him out of that conversation and that.
Man, he started from absolute scratch.
I would draft Aziz Ojulari or any.
Nobody's doing 7-step drops in
playing tackle for him. So it's.
He's almost 22 years old. Devonta Smith, same thing.
You just can't. You can't do that. You can't do
I
that.
thought that 2010 that he should be in the Hall of Fame, and they put him in after he is gone. So that's
to fill the stadium.
I remember you guys saying that.
It's crazy.
So stands.
I see that he's taken the non.
But overall, that line wasn't better.
No,
they still.
He's talking to the refs and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to get those calls."
He's coming. He's coming, and he's being section 158 with me. So
These guys have learned basically since they've been in the major leagues.